Welcome to this preview for Windows on the World, which is live and in the archive from 9:30 p.m. every Sunday at windowsontheworld.net on the live shows page. Tonight we have a preview for the film The Heretics of London, the Smithfield Martyrs, which has taken several years to make. And it is actually released on the 8th of August. You can download it from windowsontheworld.net on the homepage. The link is there to the download. And over the next few weeks, alongside the other shows, such as the Protocols of Power and the follow-up to that series, we're going to be looking more into the history of Smithfield and some of the characters and the stories which are included in the film, and we're also going to expand on that. So tonight we're going to be looking into the Heretics of London, the Smithfield Martyrs, which is now released, and we are going to talk about some of the heretics which were burned at the stake, the whole history of heresy, what heresy actually means, and that particular period of the English Reformation, where Protestants and the new reformers were burnt at the stake. And when Henry VIII made himself head of the Church of England, even Catholics were persecuted, including many monks. And the Reformation is such an interesting period that the complexities of what was going on then really do mirror what is happening now. And I'll be talking about that in tonight's show and also in the next few shows, because I'm going to intersperse the information about the film and some of the stories which are the background to it amongst the new material at windowsontheworld.net. So do please download the film. The download available is 1280 by 720, which is quite a quick download. I'm actually going to put out a high resolution version, and if people want the high res version, I can actually get it out to them. And all of the people who've supported the show and the film will get a free copy of the film. And when there are some events in the UK, which I wanted to do, I will be screening the film, doing talks about Smithfield, and also getting the cast together. So those people who have supported me over the years will actually get invited to any future screenings. That was originally the idea, but of course, what got in the way? Yes, we know what got in the way over the last couple of years and made it very problematic. So that's the whole thing about the future of this film. It will be screened and there will be follow-ups. Also, there will be more films coming out, and do please support our downloads and do support the show, because without it, it would be pretty much impossible to carry on. So yeah, we're going to be talking about Smithfield tonight and the whole era of the Reformation and those who were burnt at the stake as heretics during the 1500s. Smithfield was previously known as the Smoothfield, and it was located just outside the old city walls. It was a great place for meetups. There was all sorts of things that went on there: jousting, dueling, and the famous Bartholomew's Fair, which ran for 700 years and was set up by the monk Rahia. And he was also the founder of the Church Hospital for the Poor. And the story of how the Church Hospital for the Poor, St. Bartholomew the Great, actually came into existence is described in the film. And it's a very interesting story indeed. And it points to what happened there later on. So the Church Hospital for the Poor and the Priory of St. Bartholomew the Great was founded in 1123. And the first heretic to be burnt at the stake in Smithfield was in 1401. William Sawtrey, a priest from Lynn in Norfolk, was the first victim of the new statute, which was called Heretico Comburendo, which literally meant concerning the burning of heretics. And this gave the state the power to issue common law writs of execution under the Holy Roman Church. And this was the biggest threat to the reformers, along with the Act of Six Articles and the Act for the Advancement of True Religion. We're going to be looking into all that tonight. And this period of history is so fascinating that it needs several shows really to describe the background of what went on, because it was very, very complex and depended on who was actually in power at the time. Of course, under Mary I, even more heretics were burned, and there were at least 300 heretics burnt at the stake in England. These are people who actually would not accept certain traits and certain dogmas of the Catholic Church, including the Eucharist, which is the idea, the concept that the bread and wine, when administered by a priest, turns into the literal blood and body of Jesus Christ. This was a main point that the heretics were against. People who were accused of heresy were often persecuted because they rejected the Eucharist. Well, Smithfield, it's actually located just outside London's old city walls, and it was famous for its cattle market and this raucous Bartholomew's Fair, which ran for 700 years until it was actually shut down by the City of London Corporation in 1855. And Smithfield also features in Charles Dickens' Oliver Twist. We have the passage for that actually in the film. And yes, the film centers on England in the 1600s, the time of the Reformation. And it was a time when commoners were actually forbidden to read the Bible. And Smithfield was the favored place for the execution of heretics in England. And they were burnt at the stake from 1401 under Heretico Comburendo on behalf of the Universal Church of Rome. And this meant that heretics who did not abjure their beliefs would be burnt at the stake. But the heretic was given chance to abjure, but this was such a humiliating experience, as we're going to describe tonight, that most of them couldn't actually go through with the abjuration, so they would rather be burnt at the stake. Now, this really goes into belief and faith, and it does actually mirror what's going on today. Of course, people don't get burnt at the stake anymore, but you get cancelled, you get shut out. The new heresy, of course, is challenging the mainstream orthodoxy, the new orthodoxy of climate change and any other driver which is implemented through this communitarian system. So the parallels between then and now are actually quite startling, and we're going to be revealing more on that in tonight's show, 9:30 p.m. this Sunday and every Sunday, windowsontheworld.net. So do join us 9:30 and do download the film. There will be a lot more to come in the weeks ahead. And I've got a lot of history that I want to share because it's so fascinating. So join us 9:30 this Sunday and every Sunday. Thanks a lot, everybody.